Welcome to the What's Good podcast. I'm your host, Milton Young. Today we're joined by a very special guest, John. I met him at an open mic. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I was really impressed with what I saw on stage. And then I was even more impressed with our conversation off the stage. So I told you guys I was going to be bringing some of the best comics in the area, and I'm not letting you down. So without any further ado, John, what's good?
What's happening, Milton, man? What's good?
I'm glad to have you on the show, man. Thank you for coming on.
Man, you fast acting, man. They need to make a hair replacement after the way you move, man. This guy just told me he was going to hit me up for the podcast. I woke up, had the email like, shit, I got to get ready. I ain't even shaved.
Well, thank you for having me, man. A part of the reason why, like, what really attracted me to have a conversation with you is, man, your work ethic. Your work ethic when it comes to this craft is on another level, man. Where'd you get that work ethic?
Oh, man, wasn't always that way. I never applied myself to a lot when I was just goofball, man. That's what makes me, I'm able to go apply that. People say I have a stage presence. Like, I don't. I'm just being me, man. It's like, I've never been afraid to say things in front of people.
Oh, okay.
In other words, right? So, and they say that people would rather die than publicly speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you crazy as hell, right? Shit, I'll publicly speak all day if I can avoid that funeral home. I'll give Joe Biden speeches. Somebody need to give him a little quicker anyway. All that money we paying his ass, he taking forever to get up them steps.
But, especially when I'm talking about your writing, I'm talking about your love for the craft, right? You really enjoy the process of, the alchemist in being a comedian, taking something that's a concept and then turning it into a joke and then turning it into something that the audience can reflect, can connect to and laugh. Those are all three different phases. And if you're a real comedian, you kind of, that, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's excuse me. I have an art degree. I've always drawn all my life. I've always been artistic. And comedy's the same thing. It's an art, right? It's no different than the art of acting, the art of playing a instrument or what have you. And it's like, as an artist, you can look at a line and say, you know what I can do with that line? If I put a half circle here and then another line there, and I can make that into a letter, or I can make that into a building, I can make that into a mountain, I can do whatever. So then when you observe something in life, I'm an observational comic, right? I observe the absurdities of life. I observe the everyday mundane things that everybody may see, but you don't particularly pay attention to it, right? Or you might just, you're so busy in your day, you're just going about your business. And to me, it just sends off this light bulb like, click. Now, how do we make this funny?
And you're just constantly doing that over and over and over again.
Continuously. Or something will make me laugh. And I'm like, yeah, I got to use this. And it's, how can I make that? A lot of times it's working backwards.
True.
Right? It's like, okay, they fell and slid down the hills, and it's like, how do I make this? It's not funny for people to fall and slide down. I mean, if you have 1 ounce of humanity, right, 1 gram of humanity, to see someone slip and fall down the hill and slide down the hill, it's like, ooh, like road rash, all kind. You picking pebbles out your ass for a month, but it's like, it was funny though, right?
But now you got to craft it into something.
Like the way a leg was in the air, one leg was in the air like this, and, like this. Then when you get up and realize that this person was shit-faced drunk and they were probably doing something they had no business doing. Oh yeah, that was,
Yeah, that's funny.
Then it's like, that's kind of like God's benign retaliation.
So where'd you get, what was your first inspiration to funny? What was your first introduction to funny?
I was a latchkey kid, and my grandmother did a lot of raising me, and she couldn't hear. She was deaf. And I grew up in a very, it's not so much liberal. You had to be disciplined and do what you're supposed to do, focus, financially conservative, be smart, don't be penny wise and dollar foolish type of family. But, they allowed us to experience different things, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. That's why I could swim and stuff like that, And, excuse me. So it came to music, right? There was everything, and I had older cousins that were like older brothers, and right. So then you're looking in their music collection, and it's like there's everything in here from Leonard Skinner to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and everything in here from George Carlin to Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Mom's Mabley, and all of these things, right? So then you start putting these on, and my grandmother couldn't hear that.
Okay.
So I'm just sitting in the room, like listening to this Richard Pryor stuff, and I'm like, wait, you can make people laugh by doing that, and then I go to school and get in trouble, right? Because I have a problem remembering my sets, but I won't have a problem remembering any. I can just repeat a lot of his bits and chunks and things like verbatim, right? And then I've never seen him do this set, but his comedy is so good that you don't need to see him do it. He will be on the ground crying, laughing just from his voice inflection. And you can envision, okay, well, right, everybody knows that vampires, that's debatable if they exist, right? But when he pins the vampire and the wino having a conversation, but it's a one-sided conversation coming from the wino.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's next level.
Brilliant. Exactly, because he digs into it, right? So he says a wino can have a conversation with anybody. Wino can have a conversation with Dracula.
That's incredible. Just to sit there, and I don't even know where that even starts. Like, where did he? You know what I mean? But
maybe he was walking down the street and the wino was having a conversation with like whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, where do I take this joke? And it's like, how can I have this be? Draw the eyebrows on, as a lot of comic or comedic talent instructors will teach you. Like, clowns don't draw on eyebrows like we wear around every day, right? If you're a clown, you're making people funny. Your eyebrows are up towards. They draw their eyebrows up here on their hairline. They don't draw on us just a regular smile, right? That smile's way up here by the cheekbones. So it's that extreme that you take your comedy to, or your joke writing to, within reason.
Of course,
right?
It has to make sense to the audience.
It has to make sense, and it has to have a level of realism. It has to have one grain of realism. I can say anything about, right? But again, you get people and I literally jumped out the roof, and it's like, what they do, take the ceiling and roof off.
It's true.
Jumped out the house.
It has to make sense.
It has to make sense.
And you know what I realized? The people that really get it, the comedians that really get it, are the ones that write their jokes down. They go through it word for word, line for line. They know when they're supposed to pause. They know when they're supposed to get the laugh. But I used to do that, and I stopped. I write, probably 85% of what I'm going to say. And then after I've tried it a few times, then I go back and solidify the joke. But what I've seen with you, which is super impressive, is one of your last open mic that I was at Dead Crow, you went up on stage. You didn't bring anything up there with you. You just went up on stage like you normally do, and you did your thing, and it was funny. But when we got off stage, you were quickly outside, and you were going through your notebook, and you read, because I studied your act, you read word for word what you were supposed to say, and what you said, and where you thought it was going to hit, and where it was like you were like a professor going through, your act and just trying to find ways to perfect it. And there's not a lot of people, especially going to open mics, doing that.
Art.
Yeah.
Right? Again, I could see a beautiful scene as a visual artist and put it on canvas or what have you, but the color scheme is just not working. So then you have to take some creative freedom, right?
Yeah.
So then you say, okay, well, let's make that some warm colors here, and let's put a complementary color there, and so forth and so on. So then that just starts to come together. Many times what we look at on the wall as a painting, like that's a beautiful painting, they did that, and they use some picture for inspiration. That picture that they use, it's very rarely it's the exact same painting.
Yes, exactly.
Unless they're doing a portrait. And a lot of times they take creative freedom with doing a portrait of you and your family. So with that being said, I always type veer off like that, right? Yeah, I wrote this set, and I write in a way that it should be a song and dance up there, right? And it should be almost a call and response. And to get that call and that response, that you go to church and that preacher gets to get in that rhythm, and he knows what's about to hit. He knows what's about to hit. He's using them hard consonants, right? He's using them P words and them B words, right? And them D words because they hit. And then he's doubling them up. So he's doubling the D, right? And it's bang, bang.
Wow.
And you start to learn these cadence and these word setups, and you understand that. I could have said played with himself, or I could have said juggled his junk.
See what you did there. You're right. You're right. Just that crafting and that changing right there just changes the whole thing.
Just that simple. That simple. And a lot of times, and then also you don't realize, and I'm not sure you've experienced this, it's like I've had setups and not real like, damn, the setup was the punchline.
Yeah, I do that too.
Right? Like, my second time on stage at Dead Crow, they were still downstairs in the basement, man. And my first time took me a while to get on stage. The guys just think I was coming down there to hack, or I was some type of groupie or something like that. I'm like, nah, man, I just don't have the courage to get on stage.
What?
I didn't have the courage. And think about it, right? I was a corrections officer, believe it or not, right? So here I am, I'm telling 150, 200, 300, sometimes an entire, yard of convicted felons, murderers, drug dealers, rapes, whatever.
Yeah.
Go to your cell block, lay down. Whatever I instruct them to do, I had no problem doing that, but I'm scared to get up on stage and talk.
Wow.
It was weird, right? It was that whole element of being scared to publicly speak.
Mm-hmm.
Then something in my brain clicked and said, dummy, being a corrections officer is publicly speaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you were in the military, you couldn't be shy when you were representing your space for inspection or what have you. You had to look people in the eye. You had to talk with confidence and with command and with agency and authority and so forth and so on, and learn how to be, as well as be humble with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I'm not touring, man. I'm not this great booked comedian. I just love the science of comedy.
Yeah.
And what I see a lot of the younger guys do is they get up and it just like, they go up there, take the mic stand, they put it back there like this. And it's like, okay, this guy's getting ready to be funny. This motherfucker say a funny thing up there, right? And it's a humbling experience. I bomb plenty. I like bombing.
Yeah.
I love bombing.
Someone told me that in order to get good, you need to bomb 100 times.
So that's I don't want to keep that because I have this tendency to go.
Oh,
off,
no,
right?
it's fine. Go ahead.
That's why my jokes get like that, right? Because it's like I'll be writing a joke about dating, then I'll make an analogy in that dating joke about something, but then that about something turns into these tags and all these other jokes, and it's like, well, damn, now I'm all the way over here talking about nuclear submarines. When I started talking, now how the hell do I get back over here to dating, right? So that happens with me, man. It's this ADHD. I don't have the shit. It's not diagnosed, but I diagnosed myself. So yeah, I get off stage and I rewrite and I look at this, I look at that, so forth and so on. And then you just don't know a lot of times. Like, I didn't know that was a laugh line. Again, my second time on stage at the Crow, and I said a line and the crowd started laughing. And at that point, I had not enough experience. And I'm like, wait a minute, why are y'all laughing? I haven't said the joke yet. I haven't even said the joke yet. Why are you laughing? They're like, and then other, like the experienced comics were in there looking at me like, oh, you better shut the fuck up and take that laugh. that was a house laugh.
Yeah.
Right? It was a house laugh. And I'm like, what the hell wrong with these people? I haven't even said the laugh line yet. Then when I said the laugh line, it was like, took the air out the room.
It did.
No stage experience at that time. That ability to just roll with it. So, again, I study the science of it, man. I understand that if I write a joke and it doesn't hit and I say the laugh line and nobody laughs, then nobody knew that was a laugh line. Just keep going.
Just keep going. Exactly. How long ago was your first time on stage at Dead Crow?
I have to look at it. I still actually have I actually did record my first set, and I will cherish that. I got to find a way to keep it. I sucked up. I don't do well with this digital stuff, man. I'm old school like a mother. I'm classic, man. I was born in 1972, man.
Oh, man.
I'm a classic. I wake up every morning, my check engine light be on. I ain't got to get inspected, though. It was in, I want to say, November of 2019, because I retired from, that's another thing, right? Why I have so much time to apply this. I don't have 8 hours to put in. I'm retired from the 9 to 5 rat race. So my 9 to 5 rat race is just this whole thing going on. And with that ADHD type of thing, it's like, get up, work out, do something with my brain, because I'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
I'll get into some type of trouble, man.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm trying to keep them 3 felonies I got on my credit over there. I'm trying to hold on to them just in case somebody mess with one of my grandchildren or something. I get tired of paying my mortgage. I just want somebody else to give me 3 hots in the cot.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So yeah, man, it just...
Did you ever take any writing class or anything like that? Any of those? I did it.
Always artist. I've always had this creative mind of like, you mentioned to me the other day about penning a book, and I was like, I've been told that as well. I was told my little last go around in college, I was going to school for design, and my professor pulled me to the side, and she was like, English professor, and she's like, you really ought to think about taking some creative writing or English literature classes and becoming some type of literature major or English major. You just have a way with words.
You do, and that's super important. I mean, that's why you're such a good writer, right? Because you're the magic that you have with words, but you also have this love for it, this craft. You know, you made yourself a student of the game. You know, and when I saw how many books you had, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like we were texting back and forth, and I was like, "Do you have a couple? Can you give me a couple ideas?" You snapped something. You sent me back like 5 books, and they were all right there. It's not like you went and looking for them; they were right there.
Those are the ones that are right there, right? Yeah. Those are like a doctor. Right, they may not. A lot of doctors won't do this in front of you. Like, a lot of times they're like, "Okay, well, let me. I'll be right back." They go into another room. They go into their office. They pull out a reference book.
Okay, that's true.
Right. Everybody looks at this as I can be a clown. I can be funny here, there, around the water cooler, at the barbecue, at a birthday party. I can get on stage and make that happen, and it's not that simple. And so I have those references because it's a word puzzle to me. It's an idea puzzle to me, right? The words are already there, right? Because you get this idea, and this is the idea, and pretty much unless you act it out, there's no other way that you can explain it except for words. But now you have to figure out, how do I arrange these words in this situation with the right consonants in the right places and the right rhythmic pattern, all of these things to make this funny, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just that part of it. And yeah, it's just, I love playing. I still do the word crosswords when I can find it in what little bit of newspaper that we have.
Yeah.
Right? So the crosswords and the word jumbles, and I try not to get those apps on my phone because we have faces in the phone enough, right?
It's true.
I'm like, man, I'm looking at with a bunch of comics and comedians, right? No difference. We were talking about how we come up with material, what's our inspiration, and how do I expand on this, and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
And some of them are looking in their phone, and some of them are so busy talking. And me with that ADHD, man, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, an ant could crawl up that wall, and I'd be like, so did you know that black ants, right? All of a sudden I just go off into this useless information shit. But I'm like, you guys just missed so much material that like that guy that just walked past here shouldn't be able to walk upright because he's so drunk right now. Like, how is he walking upright? But you're not paying attention. So now then you didn't see him walk upright. You didn't pay, you're not situationally aware of what's going on around you. You missed that. Something inside of that could tie into a joke or something that you have somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't use the apps and stuff. I try to stay off of my phone as much as I possibly can, which is next to impossible these days, outside of the habit that I've already built of looking at my phone every so often.
Yeah,
but,
we're all there.
Right? So people are like, you write with pen and paper? And I'm like, no, I write with paper and pencil.
Oh, you do?
I write in pencil.
And now looking back, you did. Yep, you were. It was. Wow. Why do you do that?
I'm an artist. I prefer the feel of a pencil in my hand. If I do write with a pen, it's usually one of them hectagon, what is it? Sexagon or hectagon, whatever, barreled Bics that's shaped like a pencil, but it's a pen. I'm used to having the shape of a pencil in my hand. 1, 2. I didn't get this. I don't like this. Is another word I can use, right? A lot of people don't write to the lowest common. I hate using the lowest common denominator when it should be like the lowest common whatever that would be, right?
Yeah.
The lowest common literacy.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep. So everyone can get it.
You're making references. That shit, I can't talk half-ass, right? These teeth ain't real. Shit, I ain't afraid to tell you everything else about me real, but these motherfuckers. Yeah. So they're making references to they talking about shit that don't nobody else know what they talking about, right? And it's like, nobody's going to get that joke.
It's true.
Nobody's going to get it because I have no idea what you're talking. 3 people in the crowd knew what you were talking about, as opposed to maybe explaining it in some short fashion or form, and also understanding that you need to make something funny in here as you're building up to this, right? There needs to be a build up to this. People like, I'm a storyteller. I want to tell stories. I'm like, so what's a story, right? Like, if you read a book, a story is a bunch of chapters, and a chapter is a bunch of paragraphs, and the paragraphs are a bunch of sentences. So,
yeah, there you go.
One-liners.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I was at the barbecue with my family, and y'all know I'm lying because I don't even fuck with my family, right? But now it sets it up, right? So I was at the barbecue with my family, and so now you're setting this up, and you're setting this up, and then right, and then you're like, okay, now where do I put these laugh lines and so forth, and then again, right, embellish the truth, alter the truth, what have you? That one morsel of truth. Yeah, I was at a barbecue. I was with my family, right? I have jokes about my family that none of the things take place, but it's
so true, man. It's so true. Some of my best work really has come from just pulling from real life situations. The problem is if you put like 10% of truth in that joke, and then someone in your family hears it, they think the rest of it.
I don't care. Look, that one working?
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. Ask them. You can ask them. Look, hit me up on Instagram. I'll hook you. I'll connect y'all, and you can ask them just how many fucks that I have to give. I ain't got not a damn fuck.
But that's a huge part of comedy. Is that not giving a fuck, right? That's a big part of it, because if you do, you go up there with handcuffs, and then you're in trouble.
Man, I had to give my fucks up in my divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was part of the divorce. You could take all the fucks with you. Take them.
Now, did you use comedy as any kind of therapy? Did you write about your divorce and jokes and stuff like that, or not really? I did.
I didn't. So I got out of the military in '94. When I got home, I am from a little small town, central New Jersey, right? So I was born in New York. I was raised in central Jersey. And little small town, New Brunswick, New Jersey. A lot of you guys have heard about it. It's a little small town with a Napoleonic complex. Small town, a lot of big personality.
I got it.
And we have a great comedy club there, right? Am I allowed to mention? So the Stress Factory, right, in New Brunswick, New Jersey, it's a well-known fact. There's A1 talent coming through there every single weekend. And I got out the military, and again, my entire life, man, I've had college professors tell me, you need to be a comedian. And like when a Rutgers professor's like, we're having a conversation, I'll tell a story. So got out, and it was still that Bill Clinton era. So there was this recession. Jobs are going out the country, and I'm like, I'm a veteran, man. Why can't I get a job, and so forth and so on? And I'm angry. Like, I have kids to feed here. Like, I'm trying to do the right thing, and it's so easy to get wrapped up with my background. I'm not supposed to be where I am, Milton. Right? I'm not supposed to have beaten jail and drugs and alcohol and all the crap that comes along with the environment that I was brought into this world in. So I'm frustrated. I'm like, listen, even animals that are herbivores, if let's say there's a drought and all the vegetation dies, they're going to become an omnivore. They're going to eat whatever's available. So you'll see a giraffe eating a carcass of some type of other animal because he has to survive. Yeah. Right. So that's the point I was at in my life. And I walked in, and I'm talking to my good brother, man, Joseph Hadrick. His father was a Rutgers professor in African American studies. I walked in, and I was just blowing off steam. I'm like, I'm telling you, one of these places don't give me a job, I'm just gonna walk in there and start working.
I like that. I like that.
And they just all fell out laughing. I mean, after he finished laughing, he's like, man, you gotta do that. You have to be. He's like, John, I've told you since you were a teenager, since I met you, up until now, you need to go do this. That's your thing. So, but I'm young, I'm married, so I get out the military, I get home, and I get this book, Judy Carter, stand-up comedy. And I read it, I read it from front to back. I still do this. I have a bad habit of reading things in one sitting.
Wow. You just get locked in, huh?
I'll get locked in, and then I'll go back with the highlighter or pen or pencil. As a matter of fact, I'll go back with a highlighter or pen or pencil. And thought I'd bring you something, I'll loan you something.
Oh, man. Get out of here. All right. Appreciate that. But that's a perfect spot for that, actually. Yep.
I know you said you were ordering them, but just to give you a little jump start, man.
I appreciate you,
also, man, there's some, I did some underlining. I do a lot of underlining, maybe some cliff notes in there. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, man. And I'll get it back to you. I'll get it back to you, too, because I remember you telling me that you got to pry them back. Wow, this looks like, okay. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
So where were we? I'm sorry.
So we were talking about you going through divorce. Then you went out after you got this book and you started reading it.
Well, actually, I didn't go through divorce until 2001, but the marriage was always a little that's whatever, right? I don't. That's between her and I. I'm not one of them people that's going to be like, she did this or I did that, so forth, right? Like, I contributed so much to that situation that it had no it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I had this book, and I'm like, I'm gonna write this set, right? I'm gonna do everything she said in this book, and I do it to this day. I still write clean. Now, anybody knows me, no, I cuss my ass off.
You do write clean.
But I write clean. I write clean. The stuff that's on my paper and what comes out of my mouth don't particularly, the rhythm and the keywords match, but I pretty much write clean.
Is there a reason for that?
If you can find a word, if you're a cursor, I'm a cursor, right? Like, I came home at one day, I was like 12 years old. My mother's come on house, and my mother's in the kitchen, probably cooking spaghetti or chili, one of my favorite, right? And she's talking. What happened today? Oh no, I was out. Me and Joe, we was riding our bikes and did this and da. She's like, yeah, well, I heard you're a pretty good cursor, right? You ever see that smiley face? You got that smiley face. That they got on the phones, that was me in the other room and shit. I'm trying to sneak toward the door, get that door. Now I'm trying to get the hell back out the door. I don't care. Shit, I'll find something to eat out here. Somebody mother feed me. I ain't getting ready to stay in the house with this woman. She finna kill me up in here. Right? But nah, she didn't. She just was like, that's not a good look. It's like you are far more intelligent too than to have to use a 4-letter word. As so forth and so on. So I began to understand, right? Because again, right, listening to Richard Pryor and things like this. So I began to understand that a curse word, it's really it's verbal punctuation.
It's true.
I want to do this shit. I don't want to do this exclamation point. The shit is the exclamation point.
Oh, I got you. I like the way you're looking at that. I never looked at it like that before. Never looked at it that way before, but it's true.
Yeah. So, and I know that I'm a United States Navy veteran. I'm a sailor. I cuss still like one. I don't drink like that no more. But it's just
what it is.
And shit, I'm from fucking New York, New Jersey, man. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like.
It's a part. If you ain't doing it from those areas, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, you went to Catholic school or some shit. I ain't saying something wrong with Catholic school, right? But like. You can't say damn in Catholic school. You can catch that back then. You catch that ruler, man. So, and I went to school, so yeah. But I mean,
so you read the book. What happened after you read the book? And you said I'm going to do everything.
I wrote the set talking about this, that, being in the Navy. Man, I still wish I could find that set.
Oh man,
I wish I could find it.
You never transcribe them to computer when you're done?
Oh man, that was 95, 96 time. And I never got to the stress factory. I never had I'm in the military. I'm wired to. I was in the military. I was a corrections officer. I'm wired to run toward danger.
Yeah.
Right. But I wouldn't get up on stage. Didn't think what I had to say was funny. I was the opposite of what a lot of. Everybody says.
Oh, God.
Everybody says I'm funny, so I can get up here and I can do this, right? And I was, everybody says I'm funny, but they're just my friends and family, so they don't count, right? They don't count. And it never dawned on me to do things like I do now. I go out and I try my material on people, right? I don't need the open mic. If it gets to the open mic, it probably has been tried in the public on civilians unknowingly a few times.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. Even old stuff, even things that I know would work, like that show up here and work type of thing, right? And I go up to a job and like, man, you guys say you're hiring. We are. I says, well, I've been putting an application today and I haven't gotten a call. I've been checking my emails and everything. Do I just go get a blue shirt and show up here and start working? Like, how does that go?
You're an alchemist.
Yeah.
You're an alchemist, man.
Absolutely.
And in writing that book kind of helped get you to that next level. You wrote, but you never made it to stage. You don't even have the set anymore. And did you just put it away or put it in the back of your mind? What happened?
Life takes over, man.
Yeah.
Rocky marriage, 3 children, trying to stay out of jail from child support, trying to just, man, I've dealt with homelessness, all of these things I've had to deal with, right? Like not making good decisions. Mm-hmm. And, one thing I say about a lot about black people, man, is we always try to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't watch 100 people do it. A, B, C, D, E. You up here trying to do A to C. I'll take care of B later, right? Why can't I go from A to E and then I take care of B, C, and D when we get done?
It's true.
So yeah, it took a lot to learn that. But again, back to how I'm so focused and disciplined is that I've learned that I like nice shit. I don't have to have all my beat for all of that Gucci and right? Mm-hmm. Because quiet as it's kept, what y'all enamored by, I was doing that. I knew jokers that was millionaires when we was teenagers, man. Right? If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up the movie Paid in Full. Like these are the type of people that I knew and I grew up around.
Yeah.
right? That crack era was serious.
Yes, it was. It was.
It was serious, man. I'm riding school with cats that got a whole Dapper Dan interior made in their car, right?
Wow.
You talking about Gucci links on the headrest and Gucci links on the seat and Gucci links on the dashboard, and the system is knocking so hard that you can't breathe. And
Wow.
this Joker got gold chains and so forth and so on. So I'm brought up in that life. I'm not enamored by that type of stuff, but I do like nice shit.
Yeah.
Right. So that work ethic comes from wanting nice shit and wanting to have nice shit, but not having the balls to go to jail or prison.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. Or being, schooled by them OGs. Like, nah, you're not getting ready to do this. You got too much athletic talent for us to let you do this.
I see what you're saying. Yep.
Right. What you need money for? Or you ain't got no sneakers. It's a party this weekend. You ain't got no outfit. They'll peel you off some bread.
Wow.
Right. Send you down the street. Yo, man, go ahead. Don't be out here.
That's crazy.
Right. I was out there with the cats that'll tell you, yo, it's hot out here. Don't get scooped up. You know how they are. They'll put something on you and say it was yours, and it was never yours. Just, you don't want these things that I got on my back. You'll never get off. You got too much talent. Like, and it still goes on, man. In a lot of our communities where you see somebody with enough talent that you push them away from what's so drawing. So yeah, I like nice shit. I like to look nice. I like to, it makes you feel good. You feel good, you play good. And that's where that discipline comes from, man. Just
staying focused.
Staying focused and learning over these decades of my life that half-ass applications gets half-ass results.
That's true.
Right? I always tell people, man, always under-promise. This way you'll over-deliver.
That's true. That's powerful too. That's very powerful. So how long again before it was you got that urge to get back on stage? Was that the 2019 we're talking about, or did you actually get on stage in Jersey?
I never got on stage in Jersey. Life took over. Parenting, and at one point I was never even really even conceptualizing it, but I was such a fan of it still.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I watched Kevin and all of these guys like Mike Epps and like Def Comedy Jam and all that, like all the episodes, like I didn't care what was going on.
You just wanted to see it and hear it, yeah.
Right. It's like, yo, such and such is having a party. It's like, nah, yo, the new Def Jam. It's like, nah, I'll be there after that. It's over. Right.
Wow.
Like, Showtime at the Apollo. Right. It's like, yeah, out chilling, man. It's like, nah, it's Saturday night, yo, 12 o'clock. I'll be back. You shoot to the pad. You know what I mean? Hook up, you watch, get your little chips, get your joint, you know what I mean, whatever. And you watch the Showtime at the Apollo because you want to see the comedians that they have on there. The host was funny sometimes, you know what I mean? You had Steve Harvey and guys like that would host Showtime at the Apollo. So yeah, man, I've been a comedy geek. Alonzo Bowden, God bless the brother. He's
wow.
Not God. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, why I say God bless the brother? Shout out to the brother Alonzo Bowden, man. I was able to meet him. I done killed the man and shit.
That brought him back to life.
I don't do no voodoo. I don't know nothing about that type shit. That's why I don't pray with people.
Oh my God.
So yeah, man. Alonzo. He taught me some history about the thing. But I remember Alonzo, man, on like Night at the Improv or something like that. It used to come on in the late 80s or something. All of that. Bill Bellamy had a show back then.
Oh yeah, Bill Bellamy had a show. You're right. Bill Bellamy was funny. I don't think he ever got the recognition he deserved, but he was so talented, man, and so good. But he was around the time where there were so many greats too. He had so many greats.
Bill, yeah, I think because Bill is everybody's person.
It's true.
Bill is like, I don't think nobody doesn't like Bill.
Exactly. He's like Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
Right?
But he's that soulful. Like he's
true.
It's like, yeah, when that camera go off, he act real. He digs it in. But So I don't think he ever got that recognition. Also, like, there was such a storm of people coming through at that point, man.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That he kind of got pushed to the back because Bill is, man, storyteller.
Come on, man.
Storyteller.
Come on, man.
Shout out to Bill Bellamy, man. I'm talking about all these comedians like I know them or something.
But you do.
Know these cats.
No, you do. And it's the reason why it's like, it's because of how they tell their comedy. They're real. Like you said, they have that element of realness in it. They're talking about real things that are really happening. And when I go to open mics, I kind of look for that. I kind of look for someone that you can tell when someone's just making something up just to kind of get a rattle, or opposed to someone just really has a concept, something that they're going through and something that they have twisted and turned so it's not painful anymore. It's funny. And when you can tell a whole story, keep the whole audience in there with you and they're laughing. And, you know, when you rewriting that story, the stuff they're laughing at was the painful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's common. It's
common. Yeah.
It's common. Listen, man, my parents died 3 days apart.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Right? It's all good, man. It's, 2016. So they died 3 days apart. And so in August of 2015, I had a very close friend of mine commit suicide. He called me on the phone. He says, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, yo, chill. I'm on the bus. I'm coming up there. See, I wasn't always this fly. I used to have to take the bus and shit. I wasn't always driving no nice car.
That's a nice car you got there, right? Too, by the way.
Thank you, man. So, he called me on the phone. I said, yo, man, relax, man. We've been through, look at what we came through, man. I always tell everybody in my generation from where we come from, man, look at what we come from. Look what we came through.
Yeah.
Relax. This is your journey. We can't always look good. We can't always be fly. We can't always have what we want.
It's true.
Everything has its seasons. Ride that season out. So
that's a really good point.
So this brother, he committed suicide, and it rattled us, man. Right? It rattled us because we're all close, man. I still talk to my friends from high school, man. I talk one of them every day.
Wow.
Every single. If we don't talk every day, something wrong.
Yeah.
Right? So, he committed suicide. Then the following month, my aunt died. Meanwhile, my mother's got Alzheimer's dementia, right? She nutty squirrel shit. You see, I have to make laughter of these things, right?
You have to, man. So you won't be able to deal with it, brother.
Like the shit that my mother used to do with the Alzheimer's dementia, bro. It was like that's a brutal thing to have to deal with, right? Sure. But then you start to look at, right, no matter what anyone's faith is, I don't care. I tell people, I don't care what your faith is, Muslim, Jew, Christian, whatever you have, I'm sure there's something inside your scripture that tells you what's happening, right? So I just think, the Bible says once a man, twice a child.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the things my mother used to say, dude, I used to be like, yo, that's some funny shit. I don't care what y'all talking about. Look, I'm gonna tell you a story, right? We went to, we had to take her to my mother had other health issues, right? So now you have to take her to the doctor. She's got this Alzheimer's dementia. She don't trust nobody. She don't want nobody to touch. She don't know I'm her son. She's calling me her brother because I look just like my uncle. look very much like my uncle. So she's calling me Junior. That's okay. It's fine. We get her to the doctor, and I'm not going to sit in the examination room with her or anything like that. So my sister's in there with her and everything. So now they're getting her dressed, and she's getting a little difficult with them, right? I don't know you, so forth and so on, blah, 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 blah. But she loved her brother. She loved my uncle so much that she would revert almost back to this childlike state when I came, right? Hey, where you been, Junior? I just left the room 3 minutes ago. Hey, Junior, where you been? So I go in there. She's like, come on, Ma, let's go. Right? She's like, okay, I'm going to go because you said so. So she starts getting dressed and everything. Then right before, she gets dressed, get ready to go out, she's like, you're not going to beat me when we get home, are you? I was like, these white people finna lock me up. I'm finna go to prison. That's it. That's it for me. They're getting ready to take all 3 of my felonies at one time. I ain't even get to get 3 separate incidences to use them. Man.
Oh my God.
But you see, it's funny. But at that time, and even at that time, right, my sister who's close by, we have such a skewed sense of humor because tragedy through our whole entire life.
Yeah.
Right, I saw my first dead body, man, when I was in kindergarten, maybe first or second grade. There, you remember Red Hook projects in Brooklyn, and I'm walking down through the Red Hook project, and the Red Hook projects, man, was blocks and blocks of projects. And I'm walking down there. I used to live with my uncle. I didn't live with my uncle. I was staying with my uncle there, and for the summer, and I'm walking down, and back then you could just walk down the street, and my uncle being who he was and doing what he does, but nobody gonna touch me, right? So I'm walking down the street, and I look over in the courtyard, and ambulances and people thing and so forth and so on, and you can see the body just laying in the courtyard.
Oh my gosh!
Right, and then you start to hear the rumors start. The ghetto newspaper, right? So the internet was out long before what y'all know. I'm trying to tell you,
newspaper.
the ghetto internet was out.
Ghetto internet. Oh,
the hood internet. You could do some shit at the Spanish store. 10 minutes later. That shit done spread a mile, man.
Go ahead, keep telling your
Between the telephone, motherfuckers getting on the bus and the train, in a cab, driving, talking.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? You got the old lady leaning out the window. Oh, child. That boy just hit that man in the head with a can of beans.
That's funny.
Right?
That's funny.
And then the guy on the bus got on there like, he fucked that motherfucker up. He hit him in the head with a can of beans. So then that stuff gets in. Yeah, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So the ghetto internet. So yeah, man, I saw my first body when I was young. Like, so I've always had to make tragedy my comedy, man. I'd have been batched. I'm the good kind of crazy. Like, there's something wrong with my ass. I tell people immediately, yeah, there's something wrong with me. I'll laugh at some very, 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 very probably wrong shit, but it's not the wrong thing that I'm laughing at. Maybe it's the reaction of the person, the look on their face or something like that. Mm-hmm. You know, like when white people go out there fucking with them animals and shit. It's not that I don't feel bad for y'all. I be feeling bad for you, but that's what the fuck you get. Ain't nobody tell you be out there fucking with them animals.
Nah, you killing me, man.
I'm trying to tell you, all out there in the jungle fucking around. You seen that one where they shot that lion and they was up there posing with the lion. They shot the lion, right? They was out on safari. You know how they take you out there in South Africa, they take you on safari, right? So they out on safari, they done fucked around, got off the G-Wagon, right? The safari G-Wagon, they out there and they posing with this motherfucker couple, right? White couple. They said they posing with this male lion. And I'm like, that's a big ass lion that they took right there, right? Then all of a sudden, these motherfuckers dropped that motherfucker and jumped up in that truck because the camera was recording. Yo.
Are you being serious?
I promised to God, man, you can pull it up on your phone right now. And the next lion that came in, I don't think his head will fit through a door, man.
Oh.
The size of that next, he's like, see? You messing with Thaddeus.
So
Thaddeus is my cousin on my mama's side, 3 times removed.
John, you killing me right now.
For come over there and swipe some of that meat off your ass.
Oh man, I want to look that up later because that's hilarious, man.
Yeah, so it's always this. I've had this voiceovers. Man, we was doing voiceovers. Remember when you remember VHS?
Oh yeah.
And they had camcorders. Man, we was doing voiceovers when they came out, man. We had the camcorder because see, might have been something involved in some nefarious, and because we can't afford. My mom ain't gonna buy me no damn camcorder, right?
I was gonna say,
but one might have fell off the back of the bus, right?
Oh my God!
You might have seen one sitting on somebody's kitchen table, and the window wasn't open, the window wasn't locked, and
yeah, do what you had to do, man.
You kind of tripped and your arm went inside the window, and you had to use the camera for leverage.
Yeah, there you go.
And whatever you touch, you keep.
Yeah,
that's on the table. So that's how that went. No, I'm just bullshitting. This is creative freedom that I'm taking here. Right. Because they be locking motherfuckers up over lyrics and shit, right? Because some shit don't have no statute of limitations.
It's true.
Like, you motherfuckers up in here portraying this stuff in this music, I'll be up I think I would have my hype guy in my music be like, this is creative freedom that he taking. Ain't none of this shit free. I ain't know this motherfucker before 2018. I'm not trying to go to jail, no RICO.
They're using that stuff to book people now, man.
Get you, man. You better watch what you say, or you better make a disclaimer or something like that. But
real quick.
So yeah, man, it's just comedy out of tragedy, right? That's what the whole, what you got, the theater of masks, the laughing and the crying, right? Laugh till you cry or cry till you laugh.
Yeah, that's true, man.
So yeah, like things like, my parents died, like all of that happening. I have material about that, right? It was like, my boy, he jumped off the highest bridge in New Jersey, right? And it's like, there's been days, man, that you don't want to particularly deal with what you're going to have to deal with, but I don't think, listen, if I was going to commit suicide, I'm taking pills, so I'm going out like a little bitch. Like, I'm not jumping off no bridge, man, because see, I changed my mind too much.
John, you can't be the name, man.
I got ADHD, right? That shit might have been a good idea 3 to 4 seconds ago. I can't do that shit. Comedy out of tragedy, man. Comedy out of tragedy, man. So that's why,
Are you still going to that open mic after?
Oh, up there, my man Nick Raciopia. I'm thinking about it, man.
You want to fight tonight, man?
I got enough energy when I leave here. I'm old, shit. I'm still sipping on this coffee. I don't know. Shit, I'll be talking that bullshit.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy we got you on the show, and I'm after just talking with you, I know you're gonna be back on here, man. It's a pleasure having you on here. It's
about having fun, man.
It is about having fun,
being
man.
Who you are. This is who I am.
It
man.
is who you are,
like
man.
I don't be. That's why I need, man. They be like, why you single? I'm like, cause don't nobody want my ass. Right?
Oh,
I don't be sending no representative out there. I ain't got time to be remembering no lies and shit. That's why I couldn't be like no polyamorous person. I can't remember what the fuck I'm telling you. How do I remember lying to 3 or 4 different people?
It's true. So you have any showcases coming up? If someone wanted to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you? And what do you got going on?
Oh, man. So you can get a hold of me at Jersey John Simpson on Instagram. Man, that's my most active. I got to get a little bit more active on that there. I do have a show coming up next week at the Wilmington Distillery, put on by the great brother Louis T. Look him up. He plays third in Port City's funniest comedian, but he's also putting on shows. And he puts on shows for people that don't get exposure in other places.
Okay.
If that's the most politically correct way I can say it without ruffling any local feathers. It ain't hard to ruffle feathers in this business either, right? People get butt hurt, but you get over it, man. If you butt hurt by what I say, you need to be more butt hurt by getting up there telling that joke that garnered no laughs.
It's so true, man. It's so true. You gotta have a thick skin.
You gotta have a thick skin, and
a lot of people don't.
And this is a good comedy scene, man, because you get a lot of there's 3 open mics in town, and they're putting on these shows and things, so there's exposure. But I tell them, when you go someplace else, it's sharks.
It's true. It's true.
And it's beasts and confrontation.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
I tell myself, look, I keep me some pepper spray. I talk a whole lot of shit. Motherfucker run up here.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. I hold everybody in the front row responsible. Or whoever's sitting near them or whatever, but the main people in the front row, y'all responsible for keeping this person from coming up here acting crazy. We just having fun up here because I don't spray for accuracy.
Oh my God. You just be letting them have it.
Letting them have it. So now all y'all gonna catch it because I'm spraying that way and I'm going that way. Nah, but seriously, Wilmington Distillery next week. I don't have anything else I don't believe I have anything else on my calendar at this point, man. Again, like I'm not getting booked, but then again, I'm not right. I need an agent. Anybody out there looking to try to help themselves build build their portfolio and helping someone launch their career or what have you. Like, I'm no good with any of that stuff, man. I'm good at making things funny.
You're damn good at that. You're damn good at that.
And that's what I stick to. You know, it's like,
and I'm glad that you do, because you're funny. I see a lot of people go up on open mics and they just go up, just like you said, someone told them that they were funny at a barbecue, or, one of their friends said that they were funny and they went up. They don't even go up on stage prepared. They don't even go up on stage expecting anything. They just want to say they went up on stage to do an open mic. But to see someone like you that's going every week, you're hitting multiple mics, you're coming with new jokes that you worked on. You're always trying to, take it to the next level. You're one of the first people that I've heard other people say it, but you're one of the first people that I've heard locally. And I've talked to a lot of the comedians here that are like, a joke is never done, It's never done. A joke is never done. So it's just those type of things where I was talking to him, like, this guy's on another level. The way you look at comedy, you look at it 3-dimensional. A lot of people are just 1-dimensional, and like, I love the fact that you're a student of the craft. You really, really enjoy it. And you said something to me, we know that, me and you both know that comedy is an individual sport, but you're, like you said, you're on a team. If you're doing it right, you're on a team. None of these people, Kevin Hart, Sinbad, anybody, name any of them, they got a team around them that are helping them. Jay Leno, you start talking to Seinfeld, they got armies around them,
I mean, just use a reference, right? It's like, I'm like, don't listen to me. I can point you to where a person will publicly tell you, I sold this A1 comedian, Chris Rock, a joke.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yes. People don't realize that.
You don't realize it. A lot of guys, you don't realize that you might be good at writing jokes, but you might not have that stage presence.
So true.
Right? Like, I go through this thing. I talk to some of my close friends, other comedians. I'm like, man, I think I'm ready to give up, man. I just want to write. I just want to write. I don't think, like, I'm not getting booked.
That's going to change.
But I don't play politics.
That's the thing.
I don't play politics, Milton.
Yeah, I know you do.
You hire me to do a job, I'm coming in to do that job. I'm not a people person. Yeah. I'm a person.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. But regardless of whether that or not, I'm coming to do that job.
Yeah. No, that whole you're not getting book's going to change. I have a very strong feeling about that.
So I get discouraged, man. It's like, man, maybe I'm not funny and shit. Like, that kid, but but I know how to do this. Like, there are a lot of comedians, believe it or not, that again, team sport. Milton gets up there and he says a joke. Now, and you know this from experience, you get up there, you go in this zone.
Yes, sir.
Right? And if you're doing it properly, you should be in a zone.
Right.
You should be in a pattern of, this is the song I'm about to sing, and I need to remember these lyrics. I need to remember the rhythm, the cadence, the ad-libs, the breakdowns, the bridge, and everything else. But while you're telling that joke, John's sitting there looking at it as a civilian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And John's looking at it, and John's getting taken with this joke, and John's going with the misdirection. And then Milton drops the punchline, bang. It's like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Right? Because the same thing when you hear a song. Come on, you hear that beat, you're like, uh-oh, wait a minute. Oh, why he add them horns in there right there? Oh, man, right? So, bang, bang, bang. But then, and it's hard to do a music analogy because by the time a song hits the radio, they've done all of what I'm talking about. But then Milton gets up there and he does this bit, and I say, you know what? What if you tagged it with this? Yeah. And I just write down a little piece of paper. I come to you privately. Hey, Milton, you ever think about saying this? Do you ever think this? What about this? What if you use that as your laugh line? Give it to you a little note privately. Sip off, go mind my business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I don't sit there and say, oh, I wrote that joke for him.
And I think that's what happens with a lot of other people that aren't like you. Because I've seen that happen back in New York where they'll give them just a little hint or a little tip. And then all of a sudden that magical change makes that joke work, and all of a sudden they wrote the joke for the person. You know what I mean? And that's not the way it should be. And that's why those people, Jay Leno, Seinfeld, they buy those jokes because they legally, you can't say that.
You can't say that.
You know what I mean? But there's not a lot of people that have the integrity that you have, John, to say, hey, I'm just helping you out. You know what I mean? Or I'm just, because you love the craft so much, you're not trying to say, oh, I wrote Milton's whole set because you gave me 2 sections of something where you made me think about how I can, change that for better. There's a lot of people out there that do that.
No, I back to the gymnastics analogy. Hey man, in warm-ups, when you were on the rings, your legs weren't as the way I know they could be.
Yeah.
You ever think about,
Mm-hmm.
let me try that, good idea. Then you go out and you try it and it works. You still have to do the rings.
You do, yeah. You still have to make the adjustment.
There is not one U.S. Open champion, right? Because they go as a team, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
What do you hear soccer play? I mean, you right, or in soccer or any team sport where in this society the media has this tendency to say, yeah, well, the Lakers are good, but LeBron, and then LeBron's like, yeah, man, but he ain't passed me the ball.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. It's true. No, you're making a lot of sense of what you're saying. You're making a lot of sense. And I think a lot of people get held back because they think that this thing is just an individual sport where they just got to do it themselves, man.
But on the flip side of that, you get people that get butthurt thinking a critique or a did you ever think about or helping them with a tag or whatever is that's no good.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I wouldn't. If it was no good, like anybody knows me, I'm brutally honest. I'd be like, I've had writing sessions with people and I'm writing things and they say something. I'm like, if you don't get the fuck away from me with that, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah.
Like I will tell you.
Yeah.
And it's not to be harsh or anything like that, but it's to emphasize that don't come at me with foolishness.
No,
don't do
true.
dumb shit.
It's true.
So, they just take it as, oh, the way I wrote it isn't good. It isn't.
Yeah.
That's why nobody fucking laughed.
Exactly. You got to see where it's coming from. Like if I go up, I do a joke, everything hits, the setup, the punchline, misdirection, all of it, and it hits. And then you come up to me and you're like, yo, you should change. Then I'm going to say exactly what you would have said. But if I'm sitting there and you realize, because you can tell, I mean, with a trained eye, you can look at a comedian and be like, he was expecting to get a laugh there. He didn't get that laugh. But if he would have tweaked it like this, he would have got that laugh.
Right.
And that's what you were doing. Remember I mentioned earlier when we went outside, you were getting laughs in areas you weren't expecting to get them in. And then the area. So you went back and you were doing it for yourself.
Yeah. So next time, shit, I did all that damn work. Now the work is smaller though.
Exactly.
It's that chunk right there.
Yeah.
And let's change the perspective on it. Right. That's what I'm doing with that piece right now, as a matter of fact. Right. Yeah. It's like,
I can't wait to see it on stage again.
I gotta change the perspective on this. And I got to see if it works from that. Right. And then maybe add in a different tag from the opposite side of that. So now you get to draw a bigger picture and hopefully it's funny. But yeah, man. And so you see me, I just stick to myself, man. If we're not talking about the craft, we need to be talking about helping one another's craft, right? Exactly. I'm not out at that comedy club, this comedy show, or whatever to be talking to real estate market with you.
Right. Yeah, you got to that's that job you were talking about. You came there to get a job, done. You're showing up to do that job. And I love watching your prep because I'm the same way. You come, you get that sign up, then you're gone. And while you're waiting for that sign up, you're writing. And while you change, you writing. You know what I mean?
What I will tell you, that's good.
Yeah.
But again, I need a woman or something, man, because that's all I do, right? So now I've changed the wording so many times. I've edited so many times that and then I don't get rid of the old edits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh shit, which edit am I going to use? If I reach in this bag right now and pull out material, you'd be like, what the hell?
I know. I've already seen it. Yo, you sent me a picture. It had like 5 notebooks. I'm like, what? What is he doing?
Listen, I'm cleaning up my writing space right now, and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a picture of all of the joke concepts, jokes that I have that are in boxes, shoe boxes, the back of receipts, napkins, in notepads, just wherever. It's like I'm that hyperactivity, that observation. It's like I probably wouldn't have to draw for material if I can remember what it's about and the emotion it's in it. That's another thing, right? It's a lot of comedians don't inject emotion into their jokes, and that's where it falls flat.
It's
because
true.
we don't know how you really feel about this until the end when you say that it upset you instead of putting that at the beginning.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
But yeah, I have a lot of material, man.
You do.
I have a lot of material. My problem is that, again, that editing. And it's like, it's fine. It'll never be perfect. I have to look things up. Today I was looking up, when are writers finally satisfied with their final product that they turn it in for publishing and what have you? Because if you leave it up to me, it'll never happen, because I'll try that joke and it'll work, and I'm like, I can make it work better.
I see what you're saying.
I bet you I can make it work better.
It's that challenge. It's that challenge and that alchemist in you.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. But listen, John, we have to wrap this up. And I feel like it's a little abrupt, so I'm inviting you now to come back on this show again.
Oh, absolutely, man. This was fun.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Next time
I'm gonna shave, I'm look like, I'm look like I ain't borrowed some clothes to come on here or something like that. You know how motherfucker be borrowing? Like, hey man, I got this interview, man. Can you let me hold a shirt or something? You be like, man, what you talk about? What, you ain't got no shirt for the interview? How you ain't got no interview? You know what I mean, man. People exactly be borrowing clothes and stuff.
I know exactly what you mean, man.
Oh, man. I just can't help it, man. I can't. I told you, I've done that my whole life. I say stupid stuff. STOOPID. I'm no idiot. I just say stupid stuff, man.
Oh, my gosh. But I want to thank you again for being on the show. I'm looking forward to doing our next episode again. If you do the open mic, good luck. Good luck on your showcase. I'm not even saying that because you need it, because I know you're gonna kill. But just good luck, man. All right.
Absolutely appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks again.